Ouais, là, je lui parle dans l'anglais, là, je lui parle dans l'anglais, je lui parle dans l'anglais, je lui parle dans l'anglais. Parler dans l'anglais, je te parle en anglais, je te parle en anglais, je te parle en anglais, je te parle en anglais. Test, test, test. Test dans le canal. Test dans le canal anglais, test dans le canal anglais, test dans le canal anglais. 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 Test dans le canal anglais, test dans le canal anglais, test dans le canal anglais. Ok, test dans le canal anglais, test dans le canal anglais, test dans le canal anglais.
Donc il n'a rien du tout, Olivier, c'est problématique.
Ok.
Si tu peux rester ouvert à continuer à parler.
Ouais,
S'il te plaît.
je veux pas qu'on regarde les autres canaux aussi comme ça. Un 2, anglais, toujours rien.
Ça y est.
Un 2, anglais, un 2, anglais, un 2, anglais.
Ok, alors bouge pas, continue s'il te plaît.
Un 2, anglais, un 2, anglais, un 2, anglais. Un 2, anglais, un 2, anglais.
Alors, tu m'entends toujours?
Ouais, je t'entends, ouais.
Ok, c'est bon, ça fonctionne, Romain. Merci beaucoup.
Ok, on peut faire les...
So, good morning, everybody. Bright and early. Please take your seats so we can start the meeting. So, thanks for making it into this first session this morning. So I call to order the Preparatory Day Outcome Session and welcome you all to this meeting. So, dear Excellencies, distinguished delegates and guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, In the past days, we have had the opportunity to hold 3 preparatory events to the 8th session of the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction, which starts today. These events focused on learning, sharing experiences and best practices, and on finding solutions to some of the major challenges disaster risk reduction faces. Through highly engaging sessions and discussions, the Global Early Warnings for All multi-stakeholder forum dwelled on efforts to strengthening early warning systems and to rapidly advance the implementation of the Early Warning Systems for All initiative, which seeks to ensure that every person in every place of the planet is protected by life-saving early warning systems, anticipatory action, and resilience efforts by the end of 2027. The 3rd session of the Stakeholder Forum on Disaster Risk Reduction focused on showcasing inclusive, all-of-society approaches for the implementation of the Sendai Framework and allowed participants to explore means to accelerate collective action to address risk drivers, strengthen disaster risk governance, and to localize the DRR agenda. The event was truly diverse and inclusive. It engaged representatives from civil society, women and gender groups, the private sector, persons with disabilities, youth and indigenous groups from around the world in finding avenues to build disaster-resilient and inclusive societies. And finally, yesterday, the World Resilient Recovery Conference addressed the importance and challenges of preparing and planning for recovery well before disasters strike. So when they happen, we are able to build back better in an inclusive and resilient manner, leaving no one behind. A set of priority actions to enhance readiness for resilient recovery was launched during the event, enabling discussion on their operationalization to continue during the global platform. So now 3 distinguished speakers will take the floor to synthesize the conclusions from these 3 preparatory events, and they will also share their reflections with you. So let's welcome them with an applause. Our first speaker is Ms. Lucy Mtilatila, Director of the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services of Malawi and Permanent Representative of Malawi with the WMO. Permanent Representative, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning, Your Excellencies. It is my pleasure to represent the outcomes of the Global Early Warnings for All Multi-Stakeholder Forum that was held on 2nd and 3rd June 2025. The inaugural Global Forum was co-led by the World Meteorological Organization and the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, with the generous support of the Climate Risk and Early Warning Systems Initiative, the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, and US Agency for International Development, USAID. This was made possible thanks to the variable contributions of a wide range of partners who formed an organizing committee that helped shape a rich and inclusive agenda. The forum built on the momentum of 5 regional fora held between October 2024 and February 2025, which brought together diverse stakeholders to identify regional priorities, challenges, share good practices, and solutions. The global gathering served as a critical catalyst for accelerating the implementation of the Early Warning for All initiative, positioning it as a lasting global asset to safeguard lives and livelihoods. By reinforcing international efforts to enhance multi-hazard early warning systems, the event made a strategic contribution to achieving Target G of the Sendai Framework for disaster risk reduction. This alignment underscores the initiative's pivotal role in advancing global resilience and sustainable development through timely, life-saving risk communication. The participants' share represented national governments, international organizations, and civil society, including NGOs, persons with disabilities, indigenous peoples, youth, academic research institutions, the private sector, local authorities, and financial institutions. And representatives participated from across the globe, including the small island development states and least developed countries. So across the 2 days, we've heard from over 70 esteemed speakers, and of which 51% of them were women. The opening and stocktake, 6 thematic sessions, and a closing segment provided platforms for peer-to-peer and cross-region learning, the exchange of good practices and experiences, and the opportunity to renew existing partnerships and forge new ones while working together to identify concrete solutions to close remaining gaps in effective multi-hazard early warning services for early and anticipatory action. So from these stake-taking sessions, notable highlighted progress with tangible country examples were shared. However, there are still persistent gaps that remain across this multi-hazard early warning system, and some of them that were shared were: many national meteorological and hydrological services remain under-resourced, technically and financially, with only 67% of World Meteorological Organization members reporting having warning and alerting services available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Another issue that came out is legal and institutional gaps. Early warnings remain siloed without institutionalized roles and responsibilities amongst national and regional actors. Another issue is on insufficient data utilization, because just 56% of the countries report using hazard exposure and vulnerability data in their forecasts, limiting the effectiveness of impact-based forecasting. And another issue is on financing gaps and fragility, and issues of conflict and violence settings, informal settlements, least developed countries, and small island developing states. So the following areas were highlighted as well to support now accelerating the implementation of early warning for all. The first one is early warning for all serves as a practical basis for coherence across global agendas, having been included as a key target of the Sendai Framework as well as of the Global Goal on Adaptation, and is recognized as a key area of cooperation on loss and damage under the Paris Agreement. This translates to greater coherence and synergy in development and implementation of the national DRR plans and national adaptation plans, where multi-hazard early warning system is one of the common bases of implementation. This also creates the strongest motivation and drivers for scaling up and accelerating the implementation of the initiative. Number two is the scientific research and frontier technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data analytics, earth system observations, and impact-based forecasting offer scaling potential, but must be inclusively co-designed and nationally owned to ensure trust and sustainability. Effective and inclusive early warning systems must go beyond top-down dissemination of alerts to actively engage communities, groups of most at risk, youth as co-creators in their design, implementation, and evaluation, transforming beneficiaries into agency of change. This approach aligns with the principle of nothing about us without us, ensuring that early warning systems are rooted in local knowledge, responsive to diverse needs, and ultimately more sustainable and impactful. And thirdly, technical resources and capacities are there, but they are fragmented. Private-public cooperation, South-South triangular cooperation, and transboundary risk coordination enable these resources to be shared while strengthening national capacities for long-term sustainability. To achieve this ambitious goal, it is essential to establish a robust legal and institutional framework that defines a clear chain of responsibility from risk assessment to the monitoring and forecasting of potential hazard events, their impacts, and evaluation of existing capacities to prevent, mitigate, and respond effectively. 4, strengthen the observations network and ensure universal access to digital and mobile communication infrastructure. Employ the use of the common alerting protocol to support multi-channel alerting, cell broadcasts, local-based SMS, radio, TV, and social media to ensure alerts reach all populations, including those in remote or underserved areas. Global pooled financing mechanism, that's number 5, such as the Climate Risk and Early Warning Systems Initiative, Global Climate Fund, and the Systematic Observation Financing Facility has proven effective in supporting multi-hazard early warning development, while also broadening the impact and reach of bilateral contributions as countries build partnerships for multi-year sustainable funding. And the last one, number 6, early warning systems are strongest when at-risk communities and sectors co-develop and co-own within an institutionalized chain of responsibility, ensuring trust, timely action, and long-term sustainability. Tailoring early warnings to align with user needs and capabilities through a participatory approach builds trust and ensures the delivery of timely, relevant, and actionable information. This empowers recipients to make informed decisions and take early action based on their specific risk profiles, priorities, and capacities, ultimately helping to save lives and reduce socioeconomic impacts. So participants of this forum reaffirmed their commitment to early warning for all, especially the critical in a time when materialism and investments are questioned. Discussions throughout the forum reflected a call for broader and more inclusive partnerships, deeper engagement across sectors and communities for inclusive multi-hazard early warning systems, and a substantial increase in financing to accelerate the implementation of early warning for all. So achieving this goal will require a commitment to multilateral cooperation and sustained action. I thank you for listening. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Tila, for your valuable insights on the progress we have made thus far, and also clarity for the road ahead. Let me now turn to our next speaker, Ms. Nuami Hamisi Singano, Senior Global Policy Lead, Women Environment and Development Organization, and Women and Gender Focal Points to the SEM Advisory Group.
Dear colleagues, friends, change makers, excellencies, and distinguished guests, as I have been introduced, my name is Mwana Hamisi Singano. I co-coordinate the Women and Gender Stakeholder Group, and I also serve as a member of the SEM Advisory Group. I'm here today representing SEM Advisory Group, who led the organizing of the third session of the Stakeholder Forum on the 2nd and the 3rd June 2025. The third Stakeholder Forum has been nothing short of extraordinary, co-created by an incredible coalition of stakeholder groups, from urban communities to private sector, media, academia, indigenous people, persons with a disability, young people, and more. This forum stands as a powerful testament to what inclusive collective leadership looks like in the face of deepening risk. We came together at the time when disasters are not just more frequent, but more ferocious. The newly launched Global Assessment Report reminded us of the scale of what is at stake, with an annual ecosystem cost of losses now being reaching unimaginable 2.3 trillion USD. In the face of this crisis, it's clear the world cannot afford half measures. The call for all stakeholders to take ambitious actions to meet the scale of crisis we are facing now is louder and more urgent than ever. Over the past 2 days, we hosted 3 dynamic plenaries, 2 critical spotlight sessions, 3 powerful stakeholder-specific sessions, and 9 technical working sessions that dug deep into the heart of risk, resilience, justice, and action. And if there is one thing that echoed through every session, every voice, and every corner of this space, it is this: stakeholders are doing the work. We are not here waiting for change. We are shaping it. We are innovating, investing in financing disaster risk reduction. We are influencing policies, holding decision makers accountable, and drive people-centered, locally rooted, and globally relevant solutions. We are responding to the needs of the most marginalized. We are pushing beyond rhetorics to redefine whose knowledge counts, whose leadership matters, and what truly resilience looks like. We are building proactively, creatively, and ambitiously a world where safety, dignity, and justice are not just privilege for few, but right for all. From our science and technology session, we have learned that future belongs to the fast, flexible, and open source digital infrastructure that empower grassroots volunteers who respond first when traditional system fails. We need funding to fill data gap, and we must localize early warning system to ensure that they're accessible, trusted, and actionable at community level. Our discussions on how we use data and financing to minimize, avert, and address disaster displacement emphasize that communities must be at the heart of our planning. Top-down approaches are insufficient. We need inclusive, people-centered, anticipatory action that will prevent displacement and save lives and livelihood. The call to break the silos was clear. Integrating DRR with the climate adaptation, aligning framework like UNFCCC with Sendai Action Plan, and ensuring coherence are essential for effective policy implementation at national and subnational level. In urban resilience sessions, we embrace building forward better, with a clear commitment to advance innovation, enhancing urban accessibility for all, including persons with a disability. Youth participation is fundamental, not just an option. Bottom-up approaches and meaningful relationship must be institutionalized. NGO session reinforced the importance of local voices, financing locally early warning actions, especially in the conflict zone, and making all development risk-informed. Gender Action Plan discussion have reminded us that women organizations are at the forefront of implementations of gender action plans. Innovating practical solutions, they are building communication channels in the area where limited technology cannot be accessed, and providing bold leadership despite structural challenges and constraints. The whole of society dialogue challenges us to shift power to the marginalized group and address root cause of hazard through bold political action. Embedding DRR within cultural framework and respecting community wisdom is critical and crucial. Key messages from disability session was not just nothing about us without us, but broadly nothing without us. Emphasizing the need for meaningful inclusion with the person with disabilities in every stage and in every planning process. Scaling up finance is critical. Political will must be backed with innovative mechanisms like digital assets and private sector investment which empower community and foster resilience. Our communication, conversation, and stakeholders emphasize the need to reimagine the role of media as the frontline partner in the disaster preparedness and early warning so that they are all inclusive and reach every last one of us. They reminded us when disasters strike, communities turn to the trusted local media, being it television, radio, or even WhatsApp group. Media is often the first and the most trusted source of life-saving information. Finally, while I know that no 5-minute summary can capture the full depth and the richness of the conversations, tools, experience, and strategies shared for the last few days, I hope this brief reflection reminds us of one important thing. The same advisory group works tirelessly with at-risk communities, and we are here at GP 2025 with knowledge, experience, and skills to share. We are ready to partner. The question is, are you ready to partner with us? On a personal note, I speak to you not only as a member of the SAMO advisory group, but as someone who has seen the depth of loss caused by disaster. But also, I have seen the unshakable courage of communities rising together. In their strength, I see our collective power. So let us move forward, not with hesitation, but with a conviction. Let us carry this shared purpose through every room we enter, shaping every policy we touch, and guiding us toward just, safe, resilient future we dare not only to imagine, but to claim. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Singano, for this very important update, and particularly your point on inclusive collective leadership and your question on whether we are ready to partner with you. And I'm sure we will be able to answer this question in the next couple of days. I would now like to give the floor to Mr. Aaron Sargent to deliver the outcome from the World Resilient Recovery Conference. Mr. Aaron, excuse me. Mr. Sargent, you have now the floor. Thank you very much.
Dear distinguished delegates, colleagues, and friends, as the co-chair introduced, I am Aaron Sargent, Managing Director at the Disaster Risk Management Authority in the Bahamas. I have the honor to address you today to deliver the outcomes of the World Resilient Recovery Conference. We are all aware that the frequency and cost of disasters are rising. Hence, recovery cannot be an afterthought. Disasters are no longer rare blows. We are in a constant boxing match with a fierce opponent. If we keep using old tactics, we will stay on the ropes. It's time to change our stance, rethink recovery, and prepare to win the next round before the bell rings. If we are to act decisively and inclusively, we must be ready financially, institutionally, and socially. When disaster strikes, the impulse is often to respond swiftly, to restore what was lost without examining or addressing the root causes of vulnerability. This tendency to prioritize haste over resilience perpetuates a dangerous cycle. That is, disaster, recover, and repeat. This cycle we must and can break. The key lies in transforming disaster recovery into a deliberate opportunity. The opportunity to build back better for a lasting and resilient recovery. Yesterday's conference was a turning point. The discussions have been rich and far-reaching, from governance and financing to infrastructure, livelihoods, and private sector engagement, and the power of leadership and collaboration. But we know that discussion alone is not enough. The World Resilient Recovery Conference, therefore, launched the priority actions to enhance resilient recovery, inviting all of us to accelerate the implementation of priority action number 4 of the Sendai Framework, which calls for the enhancing of disaster preparedness for effective response and to build back better in recovery, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. These actions have been developed over the past few months with the engagement of over 4,000 experts, including contributions from 130 countries of our member states and other partners to build on recent regional and global outcome documents. With the launch of the priority actions to enhance readiness for resilient recovery, we now have a common roadmap, a global priority set of actions that must guide us through the next 5 years of the Sendai Framework and beyond. This is not just a document, it is a call to action, a call to urgency. Let me take a moment to introduce you to the priority actions. Before doing so, it is important to emphasize that they are not standalone measures. They are interconnected pieces of a larger puzzle. Their effectiveness relies on how they complement and reinforce one another. Action number 1, assess recovery readiness and strengthen governance arrangements. Action number 2, build and sustain institutional and human capacity for recovery. Action number 3, secure and enable predictable, inclusive preparedness and recovery financing. Action number 4, foster multi-stakeholder partnerships and innovation for resilient recovery. Action number 5, enhance collaboration with the private sector to bolster resilience and recovery efforts. Action number 6, enable rapid livelihood and economic recovery. Action number 7, enhance resilient post-disaster housing reconstruction and infrastructure recovery. Action number 8, increase public awareness for recovery readiness. Action number 9, localize recovery through community leadership and empowerment. Action number 10, establish adaptive monitoring, evaluation, and learning systems for resilient recovery. This call to action to governments and partners to join hands in enhancing readiness for resilient recovery and to build back better. Let us all shift gears from commitment to implementation, from talk to action. Here are some of the proposed next steps. At the global level, the International Recovery Platform will spearhead implementation in close coordination with member states and other relevant partners. This includes convening a high-level policy forum on recovery in September of this year to scale up commitments. Secondly, at the regional level, regional dialogues on resilient recovery will continue to ensure regional perspectives and needs are fully integrated. Lastly, at the national level, a top priority will be the rollout of recovery readiness assessments to support countries in evaluating and strengthening their partnerships for resilient recovery. This process will not only help member states in identifying gaps, it would scale up actions. Let us commit to turning these 10 actions into reality so that when disasters strike, we are not only ready to respond, but ready to recover sustainably and effectively. Finally, on behalf of the WRRC Steering Group, I extend my deepest gratitude to every member state, partner, participant, and to those who helped to shape this outcome. Your commitment has truly given life to this global movement for resilient recovery. I look forward to where this road will take us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sargent, for your remarks, underscoring the importance of recovery readiness and for reinforcing how disaster planning and institutional preparedness are key to building back better. As we close this first official session of the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction 2025, I want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to all who contributed to the success of the preparatory days. Your presence, your insights, your energy have made an incredible rich start to the transformative and action-oriented days ahead. Over the past 2 days, we have seen the true power of inclusive engagement and co-creation. Member states, international organizations, the private sectors, and other partners have come together alongside community leaders, youth, persons with disability, women organizations, and many others whose voices are far too often pushed to the margins. Here, they weren't just participants, but brought their life experience, reshaped the conversation, and helped to share the path forward. This is what the all-of-societal approach looks like. This is where the conversation is shaping up. This is where action is moving ahead. And this is where inspiration comes in order to ensure that we can achieve the goals of the Sendai Framework by 2030. The preparatory days have set the tone for the week ahead, highlighting emerging priorities, grappling with difficult questions, and challenging us to think and act in a manner that is bold, forward-thinking, and meets the urgency of our current time. Aligned with the theme of the global platform, Every Day Counts, Act for Resilience Today, each session accelerated solutions and moved us from intention to impact and from knowledge to action. The reflections we have heard today are not merely summaries, but catalysts for the work that lies ahead. They remind us of the urgency of this moment and the collective opportunity we all have. This is not the end of a conversation, it's the beginning of a deeper commitment. A commitment to act on the insight generated during the preparatory days, to carry these messages into every session of the global platform, and to let them shape our thinking, our partnership, and ultimately, our decisions. Before I close, I want to again extend my heartfelt thanks to all the organizers, the moderators, and the speakers who made the preparatory days possible. Let us move forward with urgency, but also with care, ensuring that the solutions we develop are grounded in the needs and realities of most at risk. And with this, I close the session.